Okay, picture this. It's mid-2013, the day before Eid al-Fitr. The air's cold, still. It's dawn, maybe just before, in Osim, Giza. Just quiet.
Really quiet. And Faiza, she wakes up around 5 a.m. It's her routine, getting ready for her husband, Mustafa, before he heads out for his job as a truck driver.
But this morning's different. Mustafa decides, no, I'm sleeping in, a bit of a holiday luxury.
Exactly. So Faiza, she just slips back into bed next to him. Everything's peaceful. The house is quiet.
Until about 6 a.m., that's when it happens. A sound.
Not loud, right? Not like a crash.
No more. Chilling. At a place. Coming from the apartment downstairs, it's enough to jolt her awake.
And her heart starts racing. She nudges Mustafa, whispering, like, I think someone's down there, maybe an intruder.
And right there, that ordinary morning just shatters. Mustafa, he's hit with this sudden, icy dread.
Okay, throws the covers off, tears downstairs, and what he finds, it just ramps up the fear instantly.
Up downstairs apartment door.
It's ajar. Just open a bit. And then he sees the main house door that's open too.
Oh, wow. So he bursts out into the street?
Right into the street. It's completely silent outside, which is terrifying, compared to the panic he's feeling. He's looking everywhere desperately. Nothing. No one.
Just that empty pre-dawn calm, the absolute worst kind of calm.
Exactly. Because then he goes back inside, back into the shadows of that apartment, and this sickening realization just hits him.
The scene he walks into, it's unthinkable.
His two little girls, Shorouk and Asala, they've been brutally murdered. One's on the bed, the other hidden underneath it.
And then the silence breaks. Faiza screams from upstairs. Then Mustafa's own scream, just raw grief.
Neighbors start gathering, drawn by these awful sounds. And then, the authorities arrive.
It's a scene that just grabs you immediately, doesn't it? That horror right from the start.
Absolutely. It's visceral. And that's really our mission in this deep dive, to unpack how this terrible crime, starting with what seems like a normal family in Egypt, could just spiral into this tangled mess of betrayal, neglect, and horrific violence.
Yeah, we're not just listing facts here. We want to explore the twisted decisions, the awful consequences that led to these two little girls losing their lives.
Because the truth, when it finally crawled out of the darkness, it was way more shocking, honestly, more disturbing than anyone could have possibly guessed.
So let's peel back those layers. Let's really try to understand how this happened. To get the full picture, we really need to go back. Back to the beginning, or at least the troubled foundations, between, say, 2005 and 2009.
Okay, so 2005, we meet Mostafa in Osim. He's young, seems popular, a hardworking truck driver, drives one of those small trucks, hauling bricks, cement, makes decent money.
A stable life, you'd say. Modest, maybe, but stable.
Pretty much. And he's incredibly close to his father.
Yeah.
Listens to his advice on almost everything. They live together in this 4-story family house.
Okay. But then in that same year, 2005, he decides he wants to get married. He chooses a local girl, Abeer.
Right, Abeer. She's described as intelligent, but, and this is key, she apparently had this questionable past that she managed to keep hidden, really well hidden. Well, apparently anything iffy happened outside their local area, so nobody in Osim could really, put anything on her. But here's the really strange part. Mustafa's father, the guy he always listens to, he strongly disapproves of the marriage.
But doesn't say why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No clear reason given, just this gut feeling maybe. But Mostafa, he just dismisses it. He's kind of got Abeer up on a pedestal, thinks she's an angel. So they get married in early 2006.
Makes you wonder what the father sensed, doesn't it? And Mustafa himself, you mentioned insecurity, suspicion.
Oh, deeply insecure, and apparently quite suspicious, almost paranoid sometimes, making up scenarios. Abeer, though, she seems manipulative, focused only on making the marriage work, managing Mustafa's issues.
Okay, and then just a year later, 2007, their first daughter arrives, Shorouk.
Yes, and from day one, Shorouk becomes Mustafa's entire world. He adores her.
But Abeer...
That's where it gets unsettling. Sources suggest Abeer was pretty indifferent to being a mother. Like, having a baby was just a biological thing. No real emotional connection.
Wow. And that indifference showed.
Apparently so. She started being absent more often. Always had excuses. Doctor, market, friends. Plausible stuff. Mustafa's suspicions. They're growing. But he has zero proof.
And the money thing.
Right. She'd ask for money often. For the house, for the baby. But Mostafa noticed the cash would just disappear. No new things bought, just gone. A subtle pattern of deception starting to form.
Then another year goes by, 2008. Their second daughter, Asala, is born.
So now they have 2 girls. The money pressure on Mustafa's increasing. His suspicions about Abeer still simmering despite her denials.
Until the breaking point in 2009.
Exactly. A friend of Mustafa's is out. He's at a nightclub in Haram, an area known for, let's say, less reputable activities. And who does he see?
Abeer.
Abeer, but totally transformed. Different clothes, heavy makeup, clearly not just out for a quiet evening.
And that confirms everything for Mostafa.
His worst fears, yeah. The divorce was instant. But here's another disturbing detail. Abeer initially hesitates about taking the girls.
Really? She didn't want them.
It sounds like it was more about appearances. Like, how would it look, a divorced woman without her kids? So she takes them. But both Mostafa and Abeer are now thinking about their next steps.
Mostafa needs someone to look after him and the girls,
Yeah,
right?
immediately. And Abeer's worried about how she'll continue her nightclub work now that she's a divorced mother with 2 kids. It's a critical moment.
Absolutely, because this sets the stage for who comes into their lives next. And as we move into this next chapter, from 2008 to 2012, you think Mostafa's starting fresh.
But it's actually the beginning of something much, much darker. While Abeer's figuring things out, this woman, Faiza, shows up in Osim. That's back in 2008.
Where did she come from?
Her story was she'd fled her family in Said, that's Upper Egypt, often seen as more traditional. She mentioned problems, but nothing specific. She presented herself as, poor and good-hearted, just looking for work.
And someone helped her out.
Mustafa's uncle, had a shop nearby, felt sorry for her, gave her a job, a small room in his house.
And Mostafa noticed her.
He watched her for a while, saw her seeming kindness, how she was apparently great with kids, always playing with the neighborhood children. He liked what he saw.
So he decides to marry her.
He does. And again, his father warns him. We don't know her background, where she's really from, why she left her family. Same warnings.
And Mostafa ignores him again.
Just like with Abeer, he's set on it. And Faiza, she jumps at the chance, accepts his proposal immediately. Maybe saw it as her ticket to stability,
But then she asks for something unusual, an orphy marriage first.
Yes. That's the unofficial kind of marriage contract in Egypt. It's private, not legally registered right away. She says they'll make it official later, after meeting her family.
That raises a red flag, doesn't it? Why the secrecy?
It certainly makes you wonder. But Mostafa, he just agrees. No questions asked. And right then, the power dynamics start shifting dramatically.
How so?
Well, Abeer, Mustafa's first wife, she remarries really quickly. And her new husband, he lays down a condition. She has to completely abandon Shorouk and Asala.
What? Just
Completely. And she agrees. So Mostafa goes and gets his daughters back.
Unbelievable. So the girls move in with Mostafa and Faiza.
Yes, and that good-hearted image Faiza had, it starts to crumble almost immediately. She lays down these really disturbing rules.
Like what?
Total obedience from the girls. No contact whatsoever with Abeer, their biological mother. And maybe the worst part, Shorouk and Asala must call Faiza mama and call Abeer their real mom, Kalti auntie.
And everyone just went along with this. Mostafa, Abeer.
Shockingly, yes. Everyone agreed. Abeer seemed totally indifferent to her own daughters, basically having their identity erased. It speaks volumes about the adults involved.
It really does. So by 2010, Faiza's true colors are showing.
Fully. That good-hearted woman becomes, shrewd is the word used. She knows exactly how to please Mostafa, keep him happy. But behind his back, she's subjecting Shorouk and Asala to severe physical abuse.
Abuse. But she calls it
Teaching manners, re-raising them. That's how she rationalized it.
Yeah.
And the most chilling part, Mostafa approved of this discipline because Faiza said it was necessary.
How could he? The man who adored Shorouk, how could he let that happen?
It's profound neglect, isn't it? Just staggering. And the girls' isolation gets even worse.
Yes, how?
Faiza demands they be moved out of the main apartment. Shorouk's 5, Asala's 4. She wants them put in the empty second-floor apartment of the family home to live alone.
Lone little kids, why?
Her reason.
Okay.
So she and Mostafa could have privacy for their intimate relations. She claimed the girls were old enough to notice things.
And Mostafa.
He agrees. He complies. He basically abandons his daughters to live by themselves on a separate floor. Meanwhile, the orphy marriage eventually becomes official after Mostafa meets Faiza's family. Her position is cemented.
This is getting darker and darker.
Yeah.
And Mostafa's jealousy.
Yeah, that ramps up too. Becomes almost irrational, focused on Faiza. It leads to this big conflict with the local worker. Mohamed, same line of work as Mostafa.
What happened?
Faiza falsely accuses Mohamed of harassing her. Mostafa, totally believing her, flies into a rage, confronts Mohamed, and forces him to leave the area completely. Mohamed agrees and moves away.
So Faiza manipulated him into getting rid of this guy.
Seems that way. Then, fast forward to mid-2012. Faiza gets pregnant with Mostafa's child. Their new baby stays upstairs with him, of course, while Shorouk and Asala, still downstairs, alone, isolated, neglected.
Which brings us right back, horribly, to that dawn in mid-2013. The day before Eid, the police arrive, the forensic teams.
And right away, things don't add up. No forced entry signs. Not on the downstairs apartment door, not on the main house door. Suggests the killer either had a key or was let in.
And little kids aren't letting strangers in at 5 a.m. without making a sound. Impossible.
Exactly. Then they find the knife, bloodstained, in the kitchen. The kitchen itself is described as violently disturbed, signs of a struggle.
And the girls' positions. Shorouk on the bed, Asala moved under it.
Yeah, like someone tried to hide her after the fact. And here's a huge red flag for the investigators. The forensic evidence. It says the girls died hours earlier than Faiza claims she heard a noise. Maybe 3 hours earlier.
3 hours. So around 3 a.m.
Around that time, yes.
Yeah.
Long before her 6 a.m. discovery. And then there's the gas cylinder. Hose removed, gas still flowing. A clear attempt at arson. Destroy the evidence.
So questioning starts. Mostafa.
He's bewildered, confused, suggests Abeer and her new husband, maybe revenge. But police clear them quickly. He does mention this weird gut feeling about Faiza's reaction, though.
What feeling?
That her breakdown seemed fake, like she was acting. But he pushes the thought away, tells himself, well, they weren't her real daughters.
Unbelievable justification. And Faiza's story.
She gives this detailed account of her morning. Waking up, Mostafa sleeping in, hearing the noise. But it just doesn't line up with the timeline from forensics. Things aren't adding up at all.
Until the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Forensics.
Exactly. The lab finds fingerprints on the murder weapon, the knife. And they match prints found on the downstairs apartment door. A direct link.
And who do the prints belong to?
They circle back to Mohamed, the worker Mostafa had that big fight with over Faiza, the one he forced to leave town months before.
Mohamed. Okay. Does he have an alibi?
He claims he does. Says he was at work, then very publicly at a coffee shop having breakfast. People saw him there. But locals who saw him noted his behavior was off. Really exaggerated, they said. Like he was putting on a show, making sure everyone noticed him, not his usual self at all.
Suspicious. And the fingerprints?
They're a match. Mohamed's fingerprints are on the knife in the door. It's undeniable. They arrest him immediately.
And under questioning?
He confesses.
He does, and it's absolutely shocking. He admits he killed the girls. But the motive? It wasn't revenge against Mostafa.
Then why?
He said it was to protect himself from scandal.
Protect himself from scandal. That's the reason for murdering 2 children. That's what he claims. And then he drops the name that just blows this whole case wide open. The name that reveals the true architect behind it all.
Faiza.
Faiza. The investigators are stunned. They arrest her immediately, too.
So that's where the real story comes out, the affair.
Yes. Mohamed reveals everything. He and Faiza had been having an affair for about a year. And their meeting spot.
Oh, no. Don't tell me.
The girls' downstairs apartment. Faiza would leave the door open for him when Shorouk and Asala were out, probably at school or playing.
So that earlier fight, the harassment accusation?
All a lie. It was a fight between them, between Faiza and Mohamed. When things got rocky, Faiza preemptively accused him to Mostafa, manipulating Mostafa into forcing Mohamed out of town. A way to control the situation, maybe get rid of him before he caused problems for her.
But the affair started again.
Months later, yes, it reignited. Faiza used doctor visits as her cover story to sneak away and meet him.
Which brings us to the night itself, the full truth.
Mohamed lays it all out. They arrange to meet that night in the girl's apartment. He arrives around 3 a.m. Faiza left the doors open. Mostafa's asleep upstairs, totally unaware.
And they're in the kitchen.
Yes, engaged in their affair. And suddenly, Shorouk and Asala appear, standing right there. The sources say they just looked stunned, caught them.
Oh, God. The poor girls.
In that instant, Mohamed panics. He grabs the kitchen knife. He kills Shorouk first, then Asala. Brutally, impulsively.
And Faiza, what did she do?
She watched, passively, didn't try to stop him, didn't intervene, just watched her stepdaughters being murdered.
I can't even process that. Watched.
Then, the cover-up attempt. Mohamed removes the gas hose, planning to burn the place down. But around 4:30 a.m., Faiza tells him to leave.
Why?
She's worried Mostafa might wake up soon, but she's chillingly confident she can handle the situation herself now. She sends Mohamed away.
And her plan?
Her plan was cold, calculated.
Yeah.
She goes upstairs, slips into bed next to Mostafa, tries to wake him at 5 a.m., send him off to work, hoping he'll stumble upon the scene, make it look like a robbery gone wrong.
But he slept in.
He slept in, so Faiza. She just waits for a whole hour, lying there, before finally at 6 a.m. staging the whole intruder discovery, waking Mostafa up pretending to be terrified.
The level of detachment. It's monstrous. This whole story is just layers failure.
It really is. You look at Faiza escapes hardship, finds a new life, then throws it away for an affair that ends in the murder of children she was meant to protect. You look at Mohamed, married, family of his own, kills two little girls just to hide his affair.
And the parents. Mostafa and Abeer, the sheer indifference, Abeer practically selling her daughter's identities, Mostafa okaying the isolation, the abuse, calling it discipline.
How do you even get to that point where you agree to your children living alone on another floor, where you allow, even approve of them being hurt? It's a complete breakdown of parental responsibility.
A complete void where protection should have been.
And the tragic consequence of all these failures, all these selfish choices. Shorouk and Asala. Innocent lives just caught in the middle, completely failed by every adult who should have cared.
The outcome, Faiza and Mohamed were both sentenced to death, weren't they?
Yes, both received the death penalty for their crimes.
Mm.
Which feels like justice, maybe, but it doesn't bring back Shorouk and Asala. It just highlights the senselessness of it all.
Two little girls just gone because of this web of deceit and neglect.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? This whole deep dive into their story, it forces you to ask, what really happens when the most basic duties, the responsibilities of marriage, of parenthood, are just completely abandoned? How far can that deception, that neglect, actually go when people prioritize themselves above all else?
Yeah, it makes you consider the ripple effects, you know? Every choice, even the ones made in secret, they echo outwards. And sometimes, as we saw here, the impact on the most vulnerable is just devastating beyond words. Something to really sit with.